Well, good morning, my people. How you doing today? Muronze bacheyamani, yeah, anze nyino okuyiriba. The chairman nagwe banalonda nja kubeera naye kuba yabeera chairman wange sina kya mukolera. Kye kimu kye kyatuukawo ku president, kye kyatuukawo ku MP, era oba tolina kyakukola gwe balangirira yaba awangudde. Kati ebya chairman biri very delicate. Osimba mega w'omuntu n'atayitamu onatemu n'akuyisaamu eggaali. Kati ebyo byonna bibeera. Ojjukira baba akakiiko k'ebiira bakulaba nti gundi oyo teyatulonze. Kati awo tugende omuyombi. Good morning, Martin Sentongo. Good morning, Zaz David Klaji, Lawrence Obole, Bugiso Times, King Daniel VIP, Jones Info, Ricky Chikawa VIP, Mugenyi Simon, Peter Karyegire, Amos Luke, and the guys are Abali Mokamori. How are you? So I wanted to share two stories today. You see, there is no jam today because most of you guys are sleeping. I wanted to share two stories today. Two unsuccessful inspections. We did not get cars. We almost got a car. For one of the inspections, we actually got a car. But I'm going to share the stories. Engage Watali Jam. I want us to enjoy the journey. It's going to be brief. I'm going to park somewhere and then tell you the entire stories. Yeah. And then I know that you guys are going to learn from these stories because the things that we did go through. Kate Shuraim, good morning. Ivan Namanda VIP, good morning. The things that happened while we were trying to look for the cars for these people, these are things that will happen to all of you. Let me just go through the stories. You guys remember we bought a Raum? Do you remember the Raum we bought at 14 million shillings? Do you remember that Raum? And you also remember there is a lady that came and commented, I want a car like that Raum at 15. There are standards that come with cars of a certain price range. And naturally, you should be expecting to get the same standards if you are in the same budget range. Now, I'm going to be referencing to that Raum. That's why the Raum is in the picture. Now, yesterday, I did inspection for someone, a customer of mine. He did consult me a couple of weeks ago. We talked. He told me he had a budget of 15 million shillings, and he was asking me whether which cars he can get. I gave him a list of cars, and the market never really misses. But I did also tell him that at 15, it won't be a perfect car. It will be moving, but it won't be a perfect car. It will need some work. So he told me that based on where he lives, he would prefer to get a Subaru Cross Sport. A Katoch, Cross Sport is like the better trim of that. Now, I told him he could not get a Cross Sport at less than 18 million shillings if he was looking for a good one. And I thought he understood. He asked for a bunch of cars, and I told him most of those cars, you need to have between 18 to 20 million shillings to get a good car. And I thought he did understand that. Now, we didn't talk for a couple of days. And then days later, he calls me and says, Arthur, I talked to so-and-so, a prominent guy that sells cars on TikTok, and he has said he will get me a car. I asked him, are you sure? And he said, yeah. He told me we should go. And I told him, but you need to understand one thing about car traders and brokers. They will pull you. Have you seen that? The taxi guy almost knocked a border guy, two border guys, because he overtook at the wrong turn. So, he said the person told him he would get him a Cross Sport. Now, normally me, when you tell me you have gotten someone to get you a car, I make sure I ask you if you're sure. Why do I ask if you're sure? The goal always for me is to make sure that when you make a mistake, when you error, I can remind you that I did tell you so. Sometimes it's not easy for me to remind you. So yesterday was the day. So the gentleman called me the day before yesterday and said, Arthur, I want us to go. We look at cars tomorrow. This so and so that I told you told me we could go. Now he calls me later on in the evening and says, but we are starting from Kubiri. Now for the people that know Kubiri near Kakande's church, you know there is a chibanda there, very big chibanda there of old cars. Now me, I know old chibandas in Kampala and I know what kind of cars they have there. Now, he says there is a there at 12 million shillings. And I asked him, are you sure? And he says, yeah. So yesterday morning, after the broadcast, immediately after the broadcast, he calls me and says, Arthur, come and find me here. I drive and I ask him, is it in a chibanda? He says, no, it's a parking lot. Me, I know there is a chibanda there. So I drive and go there. He meets me, pays the inspection fee, and we, after he pays the inspection fee, we head out to the chibanda and we look at this terrible, bad condition, unbuyable Toyota Mark X. Now the Mark X refuses to start, but even before it refuses to start, I tell him the only problem with this car is you need to prepare about 4 million shillings just to get it into drivable shape. And he says, Arthur, tugende. Now I want you guys to note that yesterday I had nothing in my hands. I did tell him before that he would not be getting a car at 15. Oh, the detail that I've missed is that he said he wanted to buy a car at 15 million shillings, but his initial deposit would be 12. And while we were conversing, he told me, can't I get a Cross Sport? I paid 12. And I told him, if you get someone to sell you a Subaru Cross Sport with you paying only 12 million shillings as initial deposit, you're going to end up buying at like 24 million shillings, because a Cross Sport will be sold to you at 18 million shillings cash. So if a person is selling their car 18 million shillings cash, they will need a deposit of about 15-16 million shillings to give you a fair price. Yeah. But I think, and this is something that's going to happen to a lot of you guys, especially the guys that want to buy on credit. The broker or the trader will pull you. The goal is to get you to the ground. So at that point, he says, when we see this bad markets, he says, Arthur, katoina warawa jolaga. And I asked him the question again, what is your budget? He says, I want to buy a car of 15, but I have 12 million. Okay, I had 13 million shillings, but I've used some of the money here and there. So now I have 12 million shillings, or probably even 11. He wanted to deposit, now he wanted to deposit 11. And I say, I don't know anywhere where we can get a car, but let's go to this person that you said would get you a car. So we drive and head out. Now we meet this guy, and he says, for me, he told me, because I know all these guys, he told me, but your man told me he has 15 million shillings. I tell him no. He told me he has 12 million shillings deposit. And they show us a Mark X there. It was blue in color, digital number plates. And they said, if we are buying on our terms, we deposit, let's say 11 or 12 million shillings, they'll sell it to us at 23 million shillings. Now, if you're paying attention already, you know that for a person that was looking for a car of 15 million shillings, to be looking at cars of 23 right now is already out of our budget. Have you realized that? But that's what the guy tells us. If you're going to pay 11 or 12 million, you'll buy this Mark X at 23. Now, my customer pulls me aside and says, Arthur, I don't even like the Mark X. Can't we look for a Subaru Cross Sport? And I tell him the same thing I told him on the phone. You cannot get a Subaru Cross Sport at less than 18 million shillings. Even 18 would be you would be lucky to get it now as things stand. But 18 is okay. And he says, Arthur, gotoina wogenda. But remember on the phone, I told him, mulabi omusajja wa boda beba naku beba fuga obubi. Kato jamusaga a breadwinner mu family side ya tata ya mukazi we neyiye. So I tell him, and surprisingly, the same things I've been telling him are the same things the other person who is selling him cars has been telling him from the time that we got to the ground. A Subaru Cross Sport will cost you at least 18 million shillings in cash. Okay, and in credit it obviously increases the price. Now at that time we are stuck, but the trader or the broker that got us to the ground takes us to another place where they have a Subaru Outback. Do you remember there is an Outback we bought with the lady here at 14.5? Do you remember that Outback? The lady I told you about who drives to Gulu almost every weekend. Kati ate Outback anga bagituguza asatu. Uganda wange. Emoroka za tabusi. So they show us this Outback at 30, then they show us a Legacy, the saloon at was it 28? You get, and at this moment I am just waiting. So my customer takes me aside and says, you know what, Arthur, let me go back and look for more money. This is something I told him on the phone before he paid for inspection. You get me, I feel terrible when I go with someone to the field and we don't get a car. I feel terrible. So, but while he's saying that, now I think there's another broker that has been listening in. He thinks we have a lot of money. So he says, let me show you some Subarus. He takes us to show us a Subaru Forester 2010 model. But we are already failing to buy even a cross sport. It's like taking us to a 2010 model. So we look at those cars, and then my customer tells me, Arthur, I'll pay you for inspection another day. Let me go look for more money. Let me get probably 15 or 18 million shillings, then we come back. But this is something I told him before. Now, why am I sharing this story? Sometimes I think we as Ugandans, when someone shares your story, you think they're sharing it out of bad spirit. I'm sharing this story so that the next time someone consults me on the prices of cars, before they even pay me for inspection, they understand that I have no reason to lie to you about car prices. Sina nsonga lwaki nkulimba. If you call me and you ask me, Arthur, a good chigege is how much, and I tell you 33 million shillings, that's what it is. You remember there is a time we inspected the chigege of 23. It was on digital number plate. And I think at that time I hadn't really discovered that when someone puts a car on digital number plates, all the previous receipts take like a month to come back. So we bought a chigege 23 million shillings, almost everything checked out. Only later for this person to discover that the car had more than 5 million police receipts. Remember, we bought it 23. It had a bit of work to be done. So add like 6 million police receipts plus 23. Yeah, that's already 29 million shillings. Add the work that had to be done of about, I think it was about 3 to 4 million shillings. We have gone back to 30 million shillings. You get it? So sometimes when I tell you the prices of cars, you can probably get it cheaper. But the amount of work or the amount of investment you're going to put in after will take you back to the same amount. You get? The thing that you guys sometimes you don't want to accept is that I am in the field every day. Today is a public holiday, but I have an inspection. You get? I'm in the field every day, either to help someone inspect a car or for my own work. I'm in the field researching cars every day. Yeah? So when I tell you that you're going to get such and such a car at such and such a price, normally I am right. One of the ways you can get probably that car cheaper is if you buy it from someone that you already know. So that's how we ended up not getting a car yesterday for that gentleman. But for him, he understood. I think he knew there are things we cannot go back and say kale Arthur wangamba, kale Arthur twayogera no ngamba kino. We cannot go back and say those things. But most of the times when we don't get a car with someone, I told them they could not get a car. On Tegeda, I told them they could not get a car. And so that's what happened yesterday. Yesterday we worked on a car. The gentleman came reporting a Moroka ye inamwaka kankananga took us between 30 and 40 kilometers per hour. Now I asked him the work he had done on the car, and he told me he had recently changed the shaft caps, Edikopo. Now his car still had that thing, and his mechanic told him, let's change the shaft caps and the cross cross bearings. They did that. Now when he brought the car, after driving, we recommended the changing of the entire driving shafts on both sides, not just the shaft caps. You get? Not just the shaft caps, which is what we did yesterday. We changed the entire shafts, driving shafts, both driver and passenger side in front, and and we also put stabilizer bar bushes. Now he came, drove the car, and confirmed the car was now in impeccable state. So we did ebiganye diagnosis and repair on a Subaru Forester successfully yesterday. Nabagamba ebiba biganye byonna bireetewa Arthur. Bring ebiganye, all of them to Arthur, and he will sort you. You just have to be ready to spend. Because first of all, the diagnosis alone is not cheap. That's why it's called ebiganye. Don't bring cars to me when they have not ebiganye yet. If your mechanic can still figure it out, don't bring the car to me. So bring to me when all your mechanics sort of seem to be failing. That's when I want to look at your car. So that's the Subaru Forester story. Now there is a day, I think 2 days, 3, 4 days, 5 days ago, must have been 5 days ago, we are talking about the Raum story ya Subaru. Ujitege the Subaru yeri muchifananyi change, muchifananyi cha broadcast in the thumbnail. Now I am going to tell you the story of how we also failed to get a car. We didn't actually fail. This is a technical one. Now, the lady texted me with a screenshot of the Raum that we bought some time ago. We bought a Raum. We bought a Raum at 14 million shillings. I think 14. But just remember we bought it. That Raum that we bought, the UAY or UAX, you guys remember. It was, I think, yellow. Yeah. And it was bought by Matthias Serunjoji. For the guys that remember, he came here and that Raum, but twagigulenzi gizaite zigula bulungi tezigala bulungi yasoko kola ze kufulu ezenzigi. Raum eyo yaite kola SC. I told Matthias, don't repair the SC because SC repairs can be very stressful, and sometimes you repair SC and end up not even using the SC. So the lady texted me with a screenshot of this car, and she says, I saw you bought a Raum with someone. I want a car like that. I have 15 million shillings. Can we get it? And I said, yes, we can. Now, when I share stories and I share inspection reports, I am imagining you guys actually read the reports and understand them. When you read the report, don't just read the report and say, I also want a car like that. Read the report and understand that if you're to get a car like that, it will be in the same condition as that car. You get there, you might be lucky and you get something better, but majority of the time the car will be in a condition that is close to that. So now the day comes and the lady comes, she comes with her friend, and we head out. Now, cars of 15 million shillings, especially 1.5 liters and below, are very few right now. Like for you to get 15 million and you buy a car of 1.5 liters and below, those cars in Tono, because everyone right now with the fuel crisis, everyone is trying to buy a car that consumes less fuel. So those cars are hot cakes. So we head out and we go to Nakawa and we see the Sienta. Not so bad, but for me it wasn't. I normally, especially with women, because she was a lady, especially with women, I don't want a woman to buy a car. So we saw a Sienta. I think the Sienta was a UBG. We saw a Sienta in Nakawa there. And the engine was good, but the Sienta was old. Like UBG is old. Yeah, UBG is old. Now having a Sienta that is a UBG with CVT, now it's a car that we would buy, but only as a last resort. So what we did is I said, you know what, I made phone calls personally. I called Otwali Nakawa. I personally called Bakuli. And the person I called told me, Arthur, I have a Toyota IST old model here, but it is 16 million shillings. Yeah. And I asked him, would you take our first deposit 12 million? And he said, Janguku ground. Now for me, those brokers and traders don't lie to me. So I drove and we went to Bakuli. But when we go to Bakuli, twasanga ka IST kavao nga bakasasudde. Nga kavao. So the only car that was in that price range was a Toyota Alex, which was a US something. Now the Toyota Alex wasn't impressive, but it was priced at 15 million shillings. Nga bakwatake 12 zaffe. We checked, the engine wasn't very good. Engine ingeringa ku 65% how. The AC wasn't working. Yeah, but the car looked okay for 15 million shillings. Now, by okay, I am using my experience and I'm imagining you guys understand that I check cars every day. The body wasn't so good, but it was good. It was something that you can drive without spraying. It was something ngatenyirira nnyo, but at 15 emoroka gyosobola ofuna ng'enyira nnyo ndoze yinza Crown oba Makex oba Alphard. And we were looking for a 1.5 liter engine. So they thought this Alex, had it been in the condition that we all desire it to be, it would probably cost someone 18 million shillings or 20. I speak this with knowledge. But it was priced at 15. We bargained. Nebatukomera 14 million shillings at Sasolako 12. Yeah? Now, the lady sort of did not like the car. But there are times when we reach, I can tell you tetuina wetu jamoroke etuukeeyo. Ontegeera. Nga tetuina wetu jamoroke etuukeeyo. We drove the car. It had 4 good tires, a good interior that just needed washing, a good body. Netuvuga mumoroka nga the suspension was perfect. I'm even asking myself for a trader to be selling that car at 14. At 14, ate okuba ngo bayagikola butter. So we drive that car. We reach a certain place and park. Twaitane kulunyanga wanse moroka yonna nkalu, no leakages, no nothing. But the engine yali 65 ngina mwaka tokoto bubi. But you know what waka tokoto bubi akabira mu moroka nga you can drive it for a year without trouble. It's just the kerere that it disturbs you. So we reached a certain point. The lady came with she had a friend, a male friend, and they were talking amongst themselves. And they were saying tebasola jitu kuzanga 12. I told them you can definitely bargain. Neighbor in the barimera 14 because I think mwali mwe banja. So the lady keeps asking me, Arthur, should I buy this car? And I tell her, buy it. Buy it. Buy it. And I tell her, if you buy this car and you happen to decide to work on the engine, you'll be able to sell this car 16 or 17 million shillings because it's a Toyota Alex, for God's sake. And I tell her, but you don't have to even work on the engine. The engine is okay. You get. And she says, what about the AC? I said, don't even try to work on the AC. You get. I tell her, treat this car like the car you bought when you did not have money. Drive until you collect enough money to buy the car that you want to buy. So I tell her, drive this car for a year or 2, collect enough money, sell it. Because the way it is, ngero solo jitunda sente zaayo. Remember tuyina we twalina omukyala twali tunonya moroka ya sente mmeka. There is a lady we had natutwala ye Machindye owa RAV4, the one that bought the Kablu RAV4. We went to Machindye there and we were looking for a car of 15 million. Trust me, had she seen this Alex yali agenda bugenzi because ejukira ina sente zenga za cash. So we drive this car and we agree that this car is okay. We go, actually we twavugira bali bakomedde 14 kitune tukoma we bagenda 14. Sorry guys, I don't know when the network went off. I saw it later. So when we drive, we come back, the batside ako paka 14 million shillings. We go to the office. Now just 12 million. We go to the office, they write the agreement. The lady had all her money on mobile money. They go to withdraw money on mobile money. As they go to withdraw money from mobile money, now the lady comes back and says, you know what, Arthur, my friend is coming. He's going to top up money for me so that I buy it cash. I say, okay. Now, guys, normally when something like this happens, manyabumanyo muntagenda kugula. So that's why I normally encourage you guys, if you are going to buy a car, come with all the people abakuyambako okutegeera jangu nabo bonna. Normally when a third party or another person comes when we have already inspected the car, Their goal is to say the car is not good enough. And for them, in their mind, because they have not been with us on the search, they want to make the person believe they can get better. So when the lady told me, Arthur, my friend is coming, he's going to help me top up, I knew that's not the reason the guy is coming. You get? So when she told me, I said, you know what, me have inspected. And I told her there is no other place where we're going to go and get a car. So when he comes, you guys negotiate. If indeed the main point the guy is coming is to top up money for you, let him come, you renegotiate. Since it's a cash deal, you top up and then buy the car. And then I went. I think it was a Friday. So no, it wasn't a Friday. It wasn't. I think it was like a Wednesday. So I go. And indeed, like I predicted, later on, the person that told me about the car, the broker, calls me and says, tebaguze bagenzi. Nemubuza tebagenze tembasalidde kuko babadde bagula cash. Bagenda kunyimiriza. You see, eh? You guys, when I tell you, oneggulo yanyimiriza, neruli yanyimiriza, neruli yanyimiriza. Oyo guy mumanyi amanyi ne moroka yanga agimanyi ayina lwe yanyimiriza nga ndi munyivu nangamba kati Arthur onyigira ki ne mugamba tereka lwaki sinyiga nangagwe Arthur nkumanyi ne gyobeera mmanyiyo nangamba oba ne tunyumya bikyawo n'amaana nangamba genda. That's why he has waved me to go. So anyway, tubadde tukyanyumya nga nkyabanyumiza. So the person calls me nangamba Arthur moroka tebagitu ne mugamba lwaki tembasaliddeeko kuba babadde bagula cash. Nagamba we have reduced from 14 to 13 basasule cash bakoleki okitegeera, and that was a good deal. So later the lady calls me and says, Arthur, we have decided not to buy this car. Let me come and tell you, because the lady had left her bag in my car. So I had gone to office. I was working upstairs in the office. Then she came. Now she came, I came down to see her, and she told me something that actually made sense. She said, you know what, when my friend came, he saw the car and he was buying it at 12 million. They stopped at 13, and they said, okay, 13 was good. And he says, but we did not buy it because my friend has a friend of his who has another car that he's selling. And I said, okay. And she said they have a Toyota Raktis that they are selling at the same price, 15 million shillings. And the person selling it has accepted to take 12 million shillings first deposit. I'll pay the balance later. And I say, okay. I say, because that person is selling their car because they are shipping in a new car. I said, that's a better deal. And she said, I'm going to send you pictures of the car. I said, good. So she went and sent me pictures of the Raktis. It was a better deal, definitely. And I said, but I can't inspect it now before you guys conclude. When you guys conclude and they are handing over the car to you, I will inspect the car. That was my offer. Why am I saying when they hand over the car? Because omuntu asobola okugamba ngenda kuguza emmoroka n'atundamu yingini. Asobola kuguza emmoroka n'atundamu by'atunda. Muba n'agyonoona. Okitegeera. So I don't want to inspect a car before they hand it over to you or before the day of handover. So I said I'll inspect it for you. And we agreed. Now, I want you to note three things. Two things here. Three. We looked at a car, chose a car, agreed on a car, they rebargained the cash payment, and they did not buy because they had another option. Yeah? They went. Now, yesterday, the lady texted me and said, Arthur, the person that was selling me the Raktis changed his mind, is no longer selling. I said, sorry. And she said, so now what are we going to do? And I asked her, do you have a bigger budget now? And she said, no, I still have 15 million shillings, 12 million cash. And I told her, but I don't know anywhere where we're going to get that car. I don't know any other place where we can look. You get? And I told her, but I'm also going to charge you for day 2. If you're going to look for another car now, I'm going to charge you for day 2. Remember yesterday, guys, I told you, if you get into day 2, I'll charge you 300,000 shillings. Why? It's very hard if I tell you that a car is there for you to come and we don't get a car. Yesterday I inspected for a gentleman who did not get a car. Oye yatege denso biye na mga emoro kateri yo na alemera konga broker mugambe azirina. Now, the lady says, but Arthur, when I paid you money, I thought it would move me to different places. And I told the lady, when you pay me inspection money, sigenda kutambula muwawa just to show you that we are moving. And guys, for the rest of you that are planning to hire me for inspection, me, I don't move without aim. If you tell me, Arthur, I want a car of 25 million shillings, we are going to look at all the places that have a car of 25. I'm not going to go to a place where they're selling cars of 50 million shillings just to show you that I'm moving. When you pay me, you don't pay for tosasula manyi osasula bwongo na magezi na kumanya. Until I have experience in this field, I know the places. You get? So she said, but Arthur, I thought we would move different places. And I asked her, which places did you want us to move? We went to Nakawa. I saw a car and I did not like it personally. I did not even like it for you. We went to Bakuli. We saw a car that I recommended you buy. We concluded you even withdrew money because you withdrew money to pay for that car. Era we yaja to my car nga agambye bamufunidde moroka nanga katizo sente ngenda zikola ntane mugazizeyo mu bank. Okitegera, she had withdrawn money to pay. Okitegera. The issue is, guys, when you're going to buy a car, if anyone is going to help you make a decision, let them start the journey with you. They should not come when you're at the end of the journey and they tell you, but no, this is not a good car, we can get a better one. You get? Omuntu takusaliranga wo ku motoka gyogenda ogulanga z'olugendo luwedde. Omuntu azze n'akusanga ng'ogenda kusasula emmoroka azze kwongerezaako sente ogule cash so that you buy better. Ate n'atuuka n'aga this car is not good. N'akujja ku moroka ye13 akutwale ku ye15. You get? Ate ne ye15 yiyo tematerializinze. Kati ate you want to say, Arthur, sente nakuwaza kunoonya motoka saafuna. But we got a car. Now, I'm sharing this story so that the rest of you guys that are planning to hire me for inspection, yeah? Oberengo chimanyi nti sente za Arthur za inspection kasita kugamba moroko jajifuna. In one day you'll get a car. Ero yo mukyalo batu anonyeze sawa nga 3. And one of the reasons we took time was because we spent like 30 to 40 minutes trying just making phone calls. And guys, you guys need to understand that one of the hardest things to do is getting a kango sasurako nga yabanja emoroka yebanja tebajigula ku bantu nga Arthur. Emoroka yebanja bajigula ku basuubuzi eri mbibanda. Ate abasuubuzi b'ebibanda tebatunda layisi omuntu wa bulijjo nga Arthur. Sorry guys, network took us. Emoroka gyoguze million 14 ku muntu wa bulijjo mu bibanda eba ya 16 18. And that's probably something I keep telling you guys naye sometimes you guys forget. You get? Now I've shared these two stories because they are different, and in both stories we did not get a car. But in the story, in one of the stories, the one with the lady, we actually pinpointed the car. We inspected it, and I told the lady to buy that car. Why did I tell the lady to buy that car? Because a moroka yali hot cake. Nze newunya n'okwewuunya. Emoroka eyo bw'ebeera kubasuubuza abali aggressive. That Toyota Alex. Find it at a place where the trader is aggressive and you'd buy it at 16 million shillings. Mububi bwayo bwe yaliko. Teyali mbi nnyo. It was a car that was manageable, I can tell you. It was manageable until it could. Emoroka actually eyo tulaba nti baali bagigula 13 million shillings cash. Era oli omuyaye yagula karawo mukali tuba kugwa ku Alex eyo. Yali agenda kugisasula without hesitation kuba ye yayine million 13 eza cash. But twanonye moroka gye tugula mu million 13, I can tell you ne tubula. Kati waliwo moroka ezimu mwe bagayi mbagamba nga guba mu kisago ng'oyingira field nga togisuubira. Era omukyala namugambe no Alex gye tuzze okulaba naye yeeriwo IST bakoze eki. Ate IST yali egenda kuba ya bbeeyi kuba yali nnamu nnyo. Now Alex eyo engine yali ku 65% ng'etokotanga erimu si lukyere nomanye moroka etokwata ngekubagana mu mikono ngekubagana mu mikono emikono gya piston kitegeze moroka yetaga the engine needs to be overhauled. You get needs to be overhauled. But echokonkona mu mikono tekiremesa moroka kutambula just baita gazopin eba yagaziwa kato kubanga yagaziwa moroka esigala etambula bulungi as long as ring ziba zikyakolaki kuba moroka tiyinayo yadda akakka naye nga just ekubagana muki ekubagana mu mikono. And I told the lady okujjako, and I kept saying it, emoroka eno ogigula makanika tewabawo makanika akulimba tewabawo makanika akulimba nti yingini nfu tewabawo makanika yes yingini sinna munnyo naye yingini eno sobola nogivuga emyaka ebiri. You get? And for me the thing was overhauling that engine will take about 1.2 million shillings. And this should only be done if you really want to overhaul it, but you don't have to overhaul it. Osobola givuga emoroka eno nga bweri era naye n'ogitunda nga bweri ng'okuteeka mwaka mwabiri at least ofiirwa akamwabiri gwe n'ogitunda 12 simanyi oba muntegera kati oyo Martha abeeramu nga tugula emoroka naddala bagula emoroka eza layisi. So it's important that you understand what compromise is. Now omukyalo oyo twamaliza nga mugambe nja mukyajinga bwana aba yagadde nziremu mukolera inspection because that day the not purchasing of a car was not mine, it was hers. Emoroka twagifuna and I can guarantee emoroka yali nnungi. Yes yali inamu ebyokukola, but guys kibanda kibogera nofuna emoroka ya 14 n'ekisaswa 12 okisegeera ng'etambula akaseera ako ne bwe yali yagadde yagala genda kasese yali agende kasese nakolaki nakoma ate Alex. I know people here that betuguze na bemoroka nga tuba kugwa ko Alex eyo yali agigula n'agifuwa n'agikola yingini for the people that have bought cars with ne bakola ebintu n'endabira ddala nga abakugwa kamoroka kali. You get? So eyo neggwa oyo omwami oweggulo ye I think ati yategedde because I did tell him on the phone ne mugamba emoroka yonna yonna 18 bukisaswako million 12 bagenda giguza nga 2 munya, which is not fair. I try as much as possible to inform you guys muleme kola losi musi kuba sente yo yefa okitegeera. And I keep telling you guys here, brokers and car sales people and traders, their job is to sell. Yagenda kusitula kulete ku ground obe moroka ajina oba tajirina obe moroka yembi oba nnungi, their goal is to sell. Kubana yaba yagisuubula ayina okugitunda abantu. That's why we have olaba ne botu batujjanjaba Lise katawa yangaba musimanya yagenda ne bamukebera ka clinic ewaabwe simanya ne bamuga simanya ina kidney simanya because bita obulwadde bwe yayogera bwali serious nnyo naga mbalino musako drip simanya 5 buli drip yesatu ne muga go get a second opinion clinic eye yabulijje kebirete ebirwadde bya kidney. You get? No, it's not Musimenta, it's not. Tesobola kubaawo. Era omukyala namugambye dayola Alex ewe baje eri gisasula oveeyo. But I know it's not there. Abana bangu kwalo twali tunonye moroka nyina kyali wange naye yali alina gwakeberere moroka nga banoonya Alex eyo bali bagigula ne mugamba jangu mugigule baba bajjo omukyala ne tusanko wandika endaga nagenda Jason ne mugamba oli tojje moroka bagikoze eki eyo moroka yiteyinza kusula tesobola ne bagamba ononye Alex yesente ezo tolina wojijja. So anyway, but there are two categories of people that I wanted to talk about. The first category is the category of people that I tell the money you have doesn't buy the car you want. Nibalimera because the broker has told them emoroka jeri. The second category is the category of people that come budget ya fentono. We look for a car, we see it, but at the last minute you call someone who comes and waters down everything we have done without knowing why we have done that. Nti nze normally omuntu bwayita omuntu ajje verifying ebye tukoze at the very last minute manye tewali kugula moroka awo. Era with that lady natambula nenvaawo ate nali munyiivu nanyiiga. Do you know why? Because I keep telling you guys, if anyone is going to make a decision with you, bring them with you. Arabe bye tulabye. Because if you know about cars, you will see what I see. Chovola banti abantu bwebajja ne makanika twanguyirwa. I am telling you people that come with their mechanics ganange nyino wange emirimu gyaffe gitambula mangu nnyo because makanika wabeera we reason together. But if we look for a car netufune moroka tuba tugifunye tunoleta makanika olumba makanika abakanika abamu tebalina na mmotoka. Oyota makanika atalina na mmoroka atavuganga ku mmoroka atamanyi what it means to buy car in that budget. Najja nakugamba eno tujja funa endala. Ontegeera eh? And with this lady's case it was a bit special because yali afunye mmoroka ekolaki ennungiko because yali afunye characteristic nga kenalinga nvuga kali U1NZ and it's the higher trim of the Ractis. It was a good buy, but I need you guys to understand inspection money wa athazikolo lunakulu tya oba tutandise mwenda gwabasaze utandike sawo mwenda oba ndabye moroke or is it covering a one day? That too you will pay for it. Arthur, if it's only the bushes in his hands and the knock on Alex on that money he had just chosen when he stole the thief. Edimoro karakale twali tufunye bulungi. That's the fact. Bushes zali namu. Zaka, suspension yali mpya. Emmoroka eyo yayina kintu kimu kyali kirwadde kya engine na SC. Atenga ekirwadde kya engine abantu bavuga ekirwadde ekyo for years. Omuntu avuga emmoroka eyo for years. Ngera mugambi buno obulwadde bwa engine teweetaaga na bukola gwe givuge ng'okimanye emmoroka yange si nnungi nnyo naye ngivuga nkuŋŋaanya akasente ngule ennungi. I try to reason with you guys in Bagambi. In your situation, that's what I would do. And I kept asking myself, bana abana be wabakuli, Alex eno bajijewa. Bana abana be wabakuli, Alex eno bajijewa. Until someone yagambe moroka irabika bajikoze butter. For butter is someone brings their car na afuna mwempya. Okisegeera nga it does not make sense omwana we wabakuli tunde moroka eyo 10 nyama banja. And later we discovered the moroka yali ya mukazi. The owner of the care yali atuwandikira endagaano mukazi yali mukazi abakazi ebiseera ebisinga mubamanyi bwaba batunda asobola n'okutundira ku loosi just okutunda. After I have an inspection question, can you use the OBD machine to check if the CVT gear? Yes, and we have done it. Now how does the machine check? One, the machine checks the pressure of the CVT oil. In the transmission there are pumps kati it measures the pressure. If the pressure is below the normal pressure, then the CVT gearbox has a problem. It also measures the temperature. If the temperature of the CVT oil is above or lower than the normal operating temperature, then the CVT gearbox has a problem. So yes, and those are the main two ways that you can use the OBD machine. Because ebiseera emoja kwesanga emoroka tosobola kugivugamu. Okisegeera like in the bonds. You start the car, let it run for some time, let it warm up, then you check, like we call it live data. Machine yangiriwa anali balaze. We call it live data. Now, for you guys that have seen some of my reports, I do report the live data of the machine. It tells you the operating temperature of the CVT gearbox, of the CVT transmission was good, the pressure of it was good and stuff like that. So yes, Douglas, the OBD machine does it actually measures the temperature of the engine oil, it measures the pressure of the oil, it measures the temperature of the coolant, it measures the pressure of the coolant, every fluid that has a sensor. Yeah? We can actually measure that using the OBD. There are cars that have rejected based on the readings of the machine. Guys, allow me to say bye bye to you netigekero lunako. And naffe kati wantu tugenda kulonda wano ku mulimu tugenda ngenda nsimbera yini kasate bidi ko biki kanondire mu kitundu mwendi. Do you upload the car photos on the app? I'm not seeing that option. On the app, what do you mean? If you are a trader, if after you have signed, after you have created the account, are you talking about the Love for Cars UG app? Because if you are, after you have created an account, you can upload photos of the car you're selling. You can upload photos of the parts you're selling and stuff like that. But if you're talking about the inspection, you go to this channel, go to the post section, you look, all the cars I've inspected in the past are there. After I want to inquire whether I can get a Mark X 4-wheel drive strictly or a Subaru Cross Sport. Yes, you can. The 4-wheel drive Mark X is rare, very rare. But yes, you can. And if you find it, it's more expensive than a normal Mark X. Cross Sport 18 to 20 million. Arthur, do you carry out man TGA track diagnosis? I have not done man, but it would surely be exciting. And guys, don't worry. Every time I'm doing an inspection on a certain car, I come with a specialist mechanic for that car. Arthur, you missed my question. Let me find it. On the app, it's there. It's there. Let me see if I have this app on this phone. This phone doesn't have the app. Let me see if my tablet has it. I remember like I uploaded the app on the tablet. The option is there, but you need to sign in though. Did you sign in? You cannot do anything on the app. You can't even contact someone that is selling a car until you have signed into the app. Yeah, you need to sign in. Okay, the app is here. Okay, so for the app, what's wrong with mine? So this is how you look at an app, at our app before you log in. Okay, this is how it looks before you log in. Now, when you want to look at anything, they'll ask you to sign in. Let me see if let me see if I can sign in here. Tablet yange yadde impossible with signing in. I don't know why. Yeah, it does. It gives me trouble with signing in my tab. Let me use another email and see. My tab doesn't sign in, but you cannot, before you sign in, you cannot see anything. You cannot upload pictures. You cannot do anything. Yeah, you have to be signed in, and then you'll go to your dashboard, back end, and then that's when you can be uploading stuff. So you have to sign in first. Arthur, is it true that engine of Toyota Wish new model have drastically increased? No. The engines are okay. Even the gearbox you see the gearbox that is in the Toyota Wish is the gearbox of the Fielder, is the gearbox of the Rumion. They will cost you about 6.5 there. When everything is done, 6.5. They haven't. You see, those guys are causing panic because they know everyone that has a faulty gearbox now is looking for a source. So if accidentally he's the source and is going to sell it to you, he'll be able to sell it to you at a very high price because he has already mentioned it. The lady wanted the perfect car. Just know the story of the Ractis might have been fabricated. No, he went and saw the Ractis. The only thing... The only thing that yesterday's conversation with the lady actually put me off was that, Arthur, I still have 12 million shillings. I want a car of 15, but I want one that has working SC. I will go in the Gula market, certain markets, perfect. I don't have auto translate, but Nangi. Chairman Zach, Wandi called Zungu. Katamba Gambiatia. Stash is Dasha pregnant. That is why she's no longer coming. Ne Stash nyine abadabuze ne Stash yagambi bambi ataka zibade zibatawanye napo ezo. Arthur, is it true the compressor C200 has a lot of issues? That's what I've been told. But electric issues though. Electric issues. Stash Dasha wa mfuni solo buto. Bana guys munzikirize mbasibuli. Thank you very much for being part of the broadcast, guys. Don't be in the two categories I've talked about. If you are going to buy a car, whether you're going with Arthur or with someone else, make sure all the people that are helping you make the decision start the journey with you. Omanye, when you're building a house from the foundation, A person that is with you will understand why you're making the decisions you're making. If someone finds you at wall plate and then they say katika nakanabiro wakateeka wabi, oyo muntu yali otamanyi lwaki akanabirako wakateeka awo okisegeera, and then the person say naye nyumba nga wagisindika nnyo. They don't know why you pushed the house to that side, because they were not there. It's only the people that were there that know why you push the house to that side. So when you're going to buy a car, all the people that will help you make a decision, start with them. I think there is only one time that a person brought people after we looked at a car. Yali muchara yagula raum, twajigula raum wa milioni 2. That lady brought her mechanic at the very last time, but because that mechanic was a mechanic, atera nowe makanika yajja tetunatandika kutunda ku mmoroka nga tutandikiriza. Then we looked at all the cars we looked at together. Makaniko yali atambulira ku pichi, bali ba makanika babiri bajjira ku pichi nga wetulaga we balaga. We looked at all the cars and eventually we all agreed that this car was good. Yes, it wasn't perfect, but we agreed that it was good. Era bwe twamala ogisasula, makaniko oli yajjira ku pichi ye yavuga emmoroka agenda agitereze byalina okutereza. You get it? But I think it's because we saw the cars, emmoroka zetwalaba twazirabanga naye. But don't call someone after decisions have been made only for that person to say eno emmoroka gye musobola okufuna. Okitegeera. So anyway guys, kamba siibuli. Muyombya Mark, Martin Sentongo, that's David Klaje, Lawrence Omule Bugisu Times, King Daniel VIP, Ricky Chikawa VIP, Jones Info Mugenyi Simon, Peter Kariguri, Amos Luke, Ivan Namada VIP, Kaate Shuraim, Council Patrick Asiku, Travel Live Vlog, Musimenta Joan, Sengoba Ibrashanko Gibbs, James Biamukama, Douglas Sironda, Bennett Musafili, Balvids, Taremwa Samuel, Basic Chris VIP, Baguma Antonio Presdo, Yusuf Minaj, Wamai Timothy, Rama Charity Organization, K. Jovan VIP, Richard Aki, Mpanga Godfrey, Ramona Jovan, Chambade Hannington, Juma Ali, Chairman Zach, Empire FX Bot, Katamba Isaac Katende, Bada Alex, DJ Alex 256, Next Light, Starch Events, Vlog Travel, Bugisu Times, Ivan Namada VIP. Arthur, the WhatsApp button in the app should use numbers with 256 because the button doesn't work. But I've tried it and it worked. Ivan, let me test it again. We are going to upload a newer version of the app. Yeah, we are going to upload a newer version. Some of you guys gave us a lot of corrections, which is really good. And we have integrated those changes. So the next app that we are going to upload should have a lot of your changes. Thank you very much for the feedback. Vain Boy CJ. So Ivan Namanda, I'm going to do that. I'm going to integrate that. Banai, Bamazeyo. Lucky Mose, I want a 7-seater car. Which car do you recommend for cleaning services? Any car. Any 7-seater car that you can afford, as long as it's Toyota. If she doesn't come, we believe what we think. Complete. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Mukama abampeiro mukisa. Ciao.